Hello there. Right. I think we're good to go ahead and start here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. Hope you've all had a great weekend. Um, we're near the end of it, unfortunately, but hopefully you had some time to relax and take a break, and before anytime you have to go back to work, if you go back to work tomorrow. Um, Hello, Neff. I did see that you did the little hello redeem. Good to see you. Welcome on in. But yeah, welcome on in, everybody. I've been honestly looking forward to this stream like all weekend, because we are going back into the research mines. That's right. We are going back into the research mines, and we are going to be doing one of our our patent research streams. I wanted to do one of these because it's been a while. I haven't done one of these in like months or like a month, like at least a month and a half, possibly 2 months. I haven't done one of these, which is crazy because it was all I did for a while. But I wanted to do these ones because I haven't done one in a while. But also, since I did my last one, we've actually had a decent number of new followers, and I want to sort of show them any followers that we have now who are new, show them a little bit about what we do on these streams. Because some of them I think might have seen, because before I left on my trip, most of them saw my 2-point museum streams. They're great, and I still love doing those. And we will get back to that. That's not going away. I still need to finish my Smithsonian Museum, my Smithsonian 2. The Smithsonian 2 is not closed. It is going to stay open. But before we do that, I kind of want to mix it up a little bit, because before I was kind of doing it where it was just like one. For a while, it would just be like, okay, only 2-point museum streams for like 3 weeks, and then only research streams for like however long, like a month, something like that. I kind of want to mix it up a little bit more now, and try to like not be stuck of just doing one thing throughout the whole time. So we're not done with 2-point museum. I still got to finish that, so we are going to go back to that later, in the future. But for those of you who are maybe watching and are newer and have never seen one of these research streams before, basically what we do is a few months ago, I went through Google Patents. Google has a patent search engine, if you didn't know, where you can put in any word or phrase for like an object, and you can find patents for that object from the past like 150 years. And the thing with patents is that you can find some crazy stuff in there. In fact, hold on, I actually have some, I think, still saved here on my OBS of ones that we've researched in the past. Hold on. Let's see, will these come? Hold on. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So these are some. We researched these glass. So what we're researching actually is not necessarily the patent itself. We're researching the inventor of these patents, the inventors of these patents, because each patent record has the full name of a person, where the city they were living in, and the year that the patent was filed. So that's like a perfect jumping off point for doing genealogy research and trying to learn more about a person. And we have come across some not only weird patents, but also crazier stories and crazier inventors. This one, I don't remember exactly who the person was for this, because we've done so many at this point that some of them are starting to like blur together. But this is a pen gun, but not to be confused with the gun pen, which is what this is. But this gun gun pen, so a gun that is disguised to look like a pen, according to my research, was invented by like a 17-year-old. And then not long after this was invented, like 10 years after this was invented, that 17-year-old, the inventor of this, like disappears from the record. I couldn't find a death record or anything like that, like nothing like that. He just completely disappears from the record, which was a little crazy. And then we researched the inventor of the pen gun, which is a gun that, or a pen that looks like a gun. And the crazy thing with this one is that this was actually invented, we discovered, by a famous toy inventor who also invented, what was it? His company also invented Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Light Bright, Operation, I think, and Mousetrap. Like all of these like classic like toys and games that were invented by this guy. And he also invented this, which was crazy. Oh yeah, and then this one was crazy. This, if you look at this patent that we found, if you look at, you can see it's some sort of like, like sleeping bag or blanket or some sort of protective cover. According to the patent record, this sleeping bag blanket was designed to protect you from a nuclear blast, from the heat and radiation of the nuclear blast. It's not going to protect you much against shockwave, but and in our research, we found out that this blanket was invented by this guy, Bjorn Foss, originally from Norway and then emigrated to the United States. This guy was basically living like Great Gatsby in the 20s and 30s. He married a famous piano player in Hollywood. He was living in Hollywood, and him and his wife are listed as attending like so many famous people's like parties and stuff like that. Like they were like living the stereotypical Hollywood like like speakeasy life, and then at the time that he invented this, so you would think that Bjorn, like, oh, maybe was he like some sort of like engineer, or maybe he was involved in like fabric or like fashion industry or something like that, like some sort of thing like that. No, turns out Bjorn was at the time that he invented this, was a film executive at Fox Studios. This was invented, a nuclear blanket designed to protect you from a nuclear blast was invented by a film executive for Fox Studios, which is just crazy. So that's just an example of like, and those aren't even some of the craziest stories that we found while doing this research. We found crazier things. We found, let's see, a guy who was killed in a hunting accident literally like 6 months after he filed the patent. We found a guy who, let's see, and also that same guy who died 6 months afterwards, or after filing the patent. We also discovered that his father was involved in a famous, like, was murdered in a famous murder case in, Montana, which is also crazy to discover all that. There was one inventor where the guy turned out to be involved in a like $20 million a year criminal like underground gambling ring. There was one person who turned out to be the future governor of Ohio. Like, you never know what you're going to find with these streams. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But yeah, so I think without further ado, let's get into this one. Oh, actually, before we start, I'm gonna put something in the chat real quick, so that if anybody joins in, they know that they can ask questions. Okay, let me put that there. Let me pin that, so that way anybody can ask questions. Because we love questions here. I love answering questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go over to our classroom. I'll show up in just a second. There we go. All right. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, while we do this research, we do genealogy bingo. When I started doing this research, I started to realize that there were some patterns in terms of like, you know, who there's like certain characteristics about like, you know, when you do genealogy research, things that you might uncover. And so we have like a little bingo board here that in the top corner that you see there. We obviously got our free space marked off, but just to go through like some of these. So we have like single, which is like if they were single at the time they invented the patent. Junior is if they are a junior or if they have a kid that is a junior. Criminal, we've actually come across a fair number of criminals, which is actually crazy. Sudden death is if they don't die of like, you know, like old age or something like that. It's if they die suddenly, like say like in a car accident or something like that, which has happened a few times. Widow or divorced, if they were an immigrant, we can find their obituary, if we can find a draft card for them, if we can find them in more than one census record, if they don't have kids, if they were a farmer at one point or lived on a farm at one point, we can find their birth certificate, you know, all this stuff. So that's also, you know, kind of make a little bit of like, you know, more than just me doing research, actually make a little bit of like entertaining game out of it too. So let's get into what we're going to be doing today. So what we have here, this is the patent that I've chosen, and it is a prank pocket string is really the best way I can describe it. That apparently is used for advertising. And basically what happens is that, say, it looks like you have like a loose thread like on your like coat pocket or something like this. And I guess when that happens, it's as if the person you're talking to or around is going to pull that off for you. But when you do, secretly in your pocket is a little like piece of like cardboard or advertisement that when you pull on the string, it'll stick up out of your pocket. That's the patent. I chose this one because honestly, what's crazy is that items that are like kind of like, I mean, this isn't necessarily a prank. It's kind of a prank item, I would say. It's labeled as like an advertising novelty. But it is kind of a prank. I have found when doing this research, prank items lead to the craziest stories or the craziest people. I don't know what it is, but like things that are related to like pranks and stuff like that lead to the craziest stuff. So that is what we're going to be, so this is what we're going to be researching. You can see here kind of how it works, where it's like you pull the string and it lifts up this little bit. And then down here, this is like a different version of it with like a fan as well. I'm not entirely sure how this fits into this. I feel like these are like two different things. But I think what we'll do is we'll read this a little bit. We'll read the description in just a little bit. But yeah, also I've never seen like a thread on somebody else's like clothes and thought to myself like, oh, I'll get that for you. Every time I see a thread, like I feel like if I saw this, either one, I wouldn't say anything, or two, I would just point it out to the person and be like, oh, you have a loose thread or something like that there. I would never like go up to, especially a stranger, if it was somebody I didn't know, which I'm assuming this is because it's an advertising novel. It's like, it's for advertising. So I'm assuming this is just supposed to be a random person, like, so that they can advertise this. I don't know, maybe people in 1916 were a bit more helpful than I would be. But anyway, let's read the description here and figure out who we're going to be researching today. So this was invented by a guy by the name of Thomas J. Burke, who was apparently at the time living in New Orleans, Louisiana, and they filed this patent on August 12th, 1914, and the patent was approved on June 20th, 1916. Almost two years later. That's so crazy how long it takes for some of these patents to get approved. Some get approved in like 4-6 months, and others take like 2-3 years. Like, it's crazy how long some of them take. But let me zoom in on this real quick. Let's go ahead and read a little bit about what this invention is. This is a long one, geez. All right. Be it known that I, Thomas J. Burke, citizen of the United States, residing at New Orleans in the parish of Orleans and state of Louisiana, have invented certain new and useful improvements in advertising novelties, of which the following is a specification. My invention relates to new and useful improvements in advertising novelties, particularly advertising toys, the primary object of my invention being the provision of a device, including a casing which may be inserted in the pocket of a garment, and a protective member normally housed in the casing and hidden from sight, but releasable upon pulling of a thread or cord, one end of which is exposed to sight. This will be readily appreciated. A toy of this character will afford considerable amusement to the owner who, wearing it with the thread exposed, will be often entertained by the discomfiture of his friends who, upon seeing the projectile string in sight, will often attempt to pluck or remove the thread from his garment. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe I just don't have good friends, or I'm not a good friend, but I don't know if I would do that to somebody. And what's crazy is that he labels it as advertising novelty, but he specifically is talking about it here as like a toy and like causing amusement and stuff like that. Also, it's crazy in these patent in these patent descriptions how like they have to use the most like just legalese jargon to explain like a prank and what amusement comes from it. It just sounds so funny. As an advertising device, the toy also possesses considerable value as it may be put out by merchants with an advertisement of their businesses print upon that portion of the projectile which extends beyond the pocket of the garment when extended from its casing. However, when used merely as a toy, the card may be inscribed with any suitable word or phrase, such as stung or your time to buy. A further object of my invention is to provide a novel means for retaining the projective in its casing until release by manipulation of the string, and to further provide a novel and effective means whereby pulling upon the string will release the projective. It's weird that it's called projective here and not projectile. I don't think I've heard that projective in this way. I've always heard it as like projectile. Wonder if that's like a thing that changed. I mean, because this is over 110 years old. With these and other objects in view, my invention will be more fully described, illustrated in the accompanying drawings, and then specifically pointed out in the claims, which are attached to and form a part of this application. Okay, so all right. So this is what we're going to be researching today. We're going to try and find Thomas here. This is my first time doing a patent research specifically in Louisiana, I'm pretty sure. There was, it wasn't a patent research, but there was a different research stream that I did where I was researching people in a photo album, an old like 1940s photo album that I bought. And it turns out one of the people in that photo album, a friend, was from Louisiana. So with that, let's go ahead and let's start researching. So for my research, I always use Ancestry, just because it's honestly like just the easiest and most like accessible way to like get some of this stuff. So unfortunately, we don't know what Thomas's middle name. We know it starts with a J, which honestly is very helpful. It's terrible when you do this research and you don't have a middle name at all, and there's multiple people with that same name, or like sometimes just having the initial isn't enough. Because sometimes, especially that, it makes me a little nervous that this is New Orleans, because New Orleans is a bigger city. But I'm hoping that having at least the middle initial here and this last name of Burke, which I just want to make sure I'm spelling that right. Yes. I'm hoping that that's enough. Burke isn't a super common last name. So New Orleans, and then year. So we know he lived there in 1914. So I might do the 1910 census. So I'll say 19. I'll start with 1914. Let's see. Oh, hey. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Cass Valen, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but yeah. Welcome on in. Thank you. Hope you're having a good weekend. But let's see. All right, so we're gonna go ahead then and start researching this. It's fine, no one can pronounce it. Okay, well I feel a little less bad. Can you write how to pronounce it possibly, so that way I know in the future? Okay, so let's go ahead. No, I don't want to take a survey ancestry. If I did, I would just say make it cheaper. Okay. Okay. Okay, I see. Casvelen. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very helpful. Okay. So let's see. We have what makes me nervous is that we have multiple city directories listed here for Thomas J. Burke. Now, these could be different city directories. There were cities like New Orleans would sometimes have more than one city directories. But it makes me a bit nervous that there are this many. That makes me a bit nervous that, or he could have multiple entries in the same city directory because he had like multiple jobs. So let's see. Let's just go ahead and open this one up and just see what this is. Okay, electrical engineers. Okay. This is a good start. What makes me nervous is that I'm still nervous that there might be more than one Thomas J. Burke living in New Orleans at this time, which there have been times where even in like small cities, not even like big cities, where people will like there'll be like what people with the same full name, like same name and middle initial. There'll be like two of them in like the same town, and it's like impossible to differentiate, to determine which one invented the patent. Okay, so this is another. I think this is the same. Yeah, this is just the same page. So he's on it twice. He's an electrician. Okay, so this Thomas J. Burke is an electrician. Okay. So that's these first two. What about this third one? Oh no. Oh no, this is my fear. This was my fear. Okay, so we have a Thomas J. Burke, assistant cashier, Thomas J. Burke, vice president and general manager of Burke Electrical Works, and Thomas J. Burke, sugar maker. Dang it. Oh no. Okay. At least we figured this out right off the bat, that there are 3 Thomas J. Burkes in New Orleans in 1914. What we can do, and normally I would say this for later in the stream, but what we can do, there is a possibility that this patent record, because it was officially patented in June of 1916, could be in a newspaper. It was common back then for when patents are approved that they would put them in a newspaper afterwards. So, what we might do then is we'll go here. This is newspapers.com. This is what I use to do. It's a really good database of like all these newspapers. So what I'm going to do is I'll try Thomas J. Burke. Wait, hold on. Gotta put it in quotes. 1916 and New Orleans. See if anything comes up. Okay, that's not great. Okay, what if I just make it Louisiana? Sometimes you have to like... What's this one? What is this for? This campaign, Democratic Party in the state of Louisiana. Okay, so this is a political thing. There is a Thomas Burke listed there. And the problem, though, is that this is the type of patent... This is the type of patent that, like, honestly, anybody could have invented it. Any one of these people... Any one of these people could have invented it. Because we found when doing this research that, like, it does not matter what the person's real-life job is. It can have sometimes, like, nothing to do with the patent at all. In fact, that's why that's a thing on the bingo card, is job-related patent you see in the top B line there. And then down, and also at the bottom G one, unrelated job, this one here. That one is if, like, you know, the job or their IRL job is, like, not related to the patent at all. Okay. Okay. Let's go back here real quick. Okay, let's do census records first, because let's see if maybe some of these, like, Thomas J. Burke's could be... Oh, let's change it to 1910 New Orleans. So that way we get the census record. Okay. Okay. Okay, so in terms of census records, we have these two here. This is Thomas J. Burke. This Thomas J. Burke is 6 years old in 1910. So that means in 1914, he'd be 10 years old. So this is not that Thomas J. Burke. We can eliminate this one. So that's at least one eliminated, but that doesn't help us with the city directory thing at all. Okay. This one... Where is he? Ah! Thomas J. Burke. Okay, head of household. He's 38 years old in 1910. Clerk. For the railroad. Steam... Yeah. Don't work, out of work, no. Okay. Okay, that's something. The problem, though, is that, like, these are the only ones that are coming up because I specifically searched Thomas J. If I change it to just... If I get rid of the J... How many more come up? Okay, Thomas B. Burke. Let's change it so that it's just the 1910 census. Thomas H. Burke, Thomas... Oh, boy. Okay, hold on. And let's change it to specifically... New Orleans. Okay. Okay, let's see. So it's not that one. It's not that one. We already looked at that one. I might have bitten off more than I could chew with this one. Honestly. Well, all I need to do is... Okay, hold on. So all I need to do is... Because this... According to this record... Okay. Lab, boiler, labor... Okay. So all I need to do is figure out if any of these just regular Thomas Burkes listed here line up job-wise with any of these, or address-wise line up with any of these. That's what I need to do next. So the ones that are just Thomas Burke. So let's see with this one. Okay, this one's 16. 16. Is he working? No. Must work. Fireman, railroad. Okay. That doesn't really help. Let's see. Oh, hey, pirate. Hello. I didn't have an alert go off for that one. Sorry about that, but I see that in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for... God, how long is it? God, I can't think of how long it's been at this point. It doesn't normally it says how many months, but thank you again so much for being here and for you know, supporting, you know, the stream and everything, you know. I hope you're having a great evening and everything. You've caught us in the bit of a kerfuffle trying to figure out who the inventor of this, a prank little pocket thing where you pull this, it looks like a loose thread out coming off your pocket and you pull the string and a little sign pops up. We know that it was invented by a guy named Thomas J. Burke, living in New Orleans in 1914. However, the problem is that according to the city directory, there are 3 Thomas J. Burkes living in New Orleans in 1914. So, that's what we're trying to figure out right now. We're trying to figure out who any of these people are. And if we can narrow it down. Brown, hold on. No. Let's see. Okay. So Thomas J. Burke, assistant cashier. So this, because of this address, 523 Annunciation, that is this guy here. 5023 Street Annunciation. Okay, yeah. So this one. This is new. There we go. Thomas J. Burke. Okay, so this 5023. Who's a clerk. Okay, so this Thomas J. Burke here in this census record is this Thomas J. Burke right here. So we have one. Now we need to find these two, Thomas J. Burke, Bennyville Avenue, and Thomas J. Burke, Chippewa. Okay. Let's see. What about this one? Louisiana Avenue. Single. It's 34. Laborer. Dryman. Or Drayman. Okay. 2726. Oh shoot. 2306. The problem though is that like this is 4 years later and it is possible that they could move. So that one's not really proving anything. What about this one? Grey Street, salesman, department store. He's 18. Louisiana, salesman, department office. Uh, this is a pickle. Burgundy. Yeah, that's not any of those. That's not that one. This one. Oh, that's the one I just looked at. Wait, is it? Hold on. Oh no, this kid's 11. Okay, so it's definitely not him. Thomas H. Burke. Let's see. Single sawmill laborer. No. Hmm. Thomas. Labor. I mean, we have two that are laborers up here. What's the street that he lives on? Oh, he's just a relationship household patient, so he's staying with a doctor. So he's not normally there. Okay. It's not this one. Okay, so then there's still this one. Burke, lodger, laborer. Front of lake. Okay, yeah, no, that's not. Huh, okay. So really the only one we've been able to 100% find is this one. Thomas J. Burke, the assistant cashier. Because we have the address. These other ones we haven't been able to find, really. I think. Unless, I mean... Which one was it? No, it was this one. Hold on. It was this one. Yeah. Thomas J. Burke, Mary E. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so if this is the only one we can find, because there's nothing else to go off of in terms of, like, these other two. Sugar maker. 2306. Is there a way you can put... Let's try... Well, actually, let's try 1920 census, maybe? Let's see. How many are there? About the same number. This one I think looks... Is this a different one? Because this one says Michigan. Roomer. Waiter at a hotel. No. Catherine Burke. Ward 2. Roman Street, 1403. Hold on. No. Why does it say Thomas Sweeney / Thomas Burke? Did, like, the auto transcription thing, like, mess up? Mary Burke, John Sweeney. It's 26. Laborer, shipyards. Where do they live? 1427. No. 1407? Okay. Let's see, what about this one? 22. Hold on. $1,100 and $1,104. That is not... That doesn't look like Thomas. Also, it says daughter, so I think that's a mistranscription right there. That one's Julia Street. Divorced accountant for the shipyards. Or is that a... That's a P. That's a Thomas P. Burke. That's not him. Thomas E. Thomas P. Burgery Street, Single, Martin. Traffic clerk. Their residence number? 2469? No. Okay, so it's not that one. Thomas Burke. 24. $24.62. Okay. Shoot. This is unfortunately not really going anywhere. Which is not what I want. I will admit, normally on these streams, we're able to like find things pretty quickly. This one, I think, just happened. We just happen to have bad luck with the fact that there are three, not just two, but three people with this name. But we can't find the other two. That's what's crazy, is that we can't find any evidence of the other two. We change it back to Thomas J. Change to 1916. See if they're still... oh, and get rid of the... Okay, it's not this one. It's not this Thomas J, because there are only 15 in 1920. Is this the same? Thomas J. Burke. Morgan Boulevard. Rose. What does he do? What does that say? Electrical? Oh, okay. Hold on. Electrical. Contractor. Electrical contractor. That's him. Okay, so this is the other Thomas J. So he must have moved. Does this say Morgan Bull? No. Okay. So this... It's a wife named Rose. And a daughter named Rose. Miriam, Margaret, and Violet. All daughters. 4 daughters. Okay. Okay. This one. Okay, so these are the two of the potential Thomas J. Burkes that it could be. So let's change it from this. Let's see, hold on. Are these specifically like electricians, or is this just everybody? Burke and Russell, Burke Williams, Thomas. Okay. Okay. Okay, in 1916, there's only 2 living there. Thomas J. Burke, who, yeah, works there, and Thomas J. Burke works here. Okay. Okay. Thomas R.J. Burke, foreman, 2462 Burgundy. Laborer. Okay. Now, the question is, how do we prove which one of these two invented this? That's the question right now. That's what we have to figure out, is how we can prove, at least with a high percentage, which one of these two Thomas J. Burkes is the one listed here. If we go back, Thomas J. Burke. Let's just get rid of the 1916 and just see how many come up. Okay, that's a lot. Hold on. Sort for newest. Okay, that's definitely too new. And that's definitely too old. Let's just do like 1900 to 1920. This looks like a marriage thing. Thomas Burke and Miss Mary E. Oh, that's this one. This is their marriage record. Okay. That's their marriage record. Oh, wait, what's this? Hold on. Pensions and patents. Hold on. Following patents here have been granted to Louisians. Thomas J. Burke of New Orleans. Trolley attachment. Okay. But again, this doesn't help us, actually, because we still don't know which one this is. We still don't know from this which one that is. Because this one, in 1900... If they both filed patents, that would be hilarious. Honestly, I'm tempted to check. Hold on. So he would have been, okay, 38. So in 1900, he would have been 28. So he could have invented it. And this guy, the electrician, he's 41. Yeah, they're roughly the same age, too. They're only like 3... Oh, wait, no, sorry. This guy's older. Although, didn't the one guy work for a railroad? Trolleys run on tracks. Ooh, that is a good point. It was this one. Yeah, he works for railroads and freights. But he's a clerk. But that is a good point. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Is there a way... Unfortunately, you can't do that in this, I don't think. Hold on. Can I also put... Let's see. Okay. Hey, Wayward Bard. Good to see you. Enjoy lurking. Thank you for being here. Okay. That's the same one. What's this one? This is from a year later. Single trolley wire. Invention that may revolutionize electrical traffic. Thomas J. Burke of this city invents a contrivance whereby a double-track road can be operated by means of a single overhead wire. Wait, if these are electric trolleys, then the electrician... Hold on. An invention that will admit of the use of a single trolley wire for double tracks, patented, and made by the base of a stock company by Thomas J. Burke, a young man of this city, of the electrical firm of Bielfeldet. Sorry, I butchered that. And Burke has been made public within the past 2 days by Mr. Burke. Like nearly all great inventions, it makes use of an obviously simple principle. Once that principle is apprehended, the gist of the contrivance, which admits of the use of but a single wire, is found in the following facts. The line of poles along which the wire would be strung would be to one side of both tracks. From each pole, an arm would protrude out as far as the middle of the space between the tracks and would then bend downwards. The trolley of each car, when set in position, would stand at an angle sufficiently great to bring its tip under the end of the arm from the pole. In the model, Mr. Burke has made the trolley the trolley is essentially the same as the new found on cars. It has the friction wheel, but in addition to this, it has a bow-shaped cross arm that is pivoted to the trolley just below the friction wheel. This cross arm may be allowed to hang with its tips down or by means of a wire cable running to the base of the trolley. It may be to assume an erect position so that its middle point is in contact with friction wheel above. I'm gonna be honest, they've kind of lost me in like imagining this because I don't know anything about trolleys. Do they say anything else about if he's in... Well, okay, this is in 1902. So this is 12 years before the other potential patent. Mr. Burke is a New Orleans boy and was at one time a student of the Lycée School. He has been at work on the single wire scheme for several years. In the past few months, he and Mr. Bielfeldt have succeeded in perfecting the device, which has been protected by patents. After receiving many offers for the patent, Mr. Burke finally made satisfactory arrangements with Patrick J. O'Keefe of Chicago to establish a stock company. Mr. Burke made one of the prime requisites of the company, the establishment in this city of the first factory. The charter of the new company was filed with John P. Sullivan yesterday. The company now has a paid capital of $100,000. There are 1,000 shares. The incorporators and the first board of directors consist of the following. Okay, yeah, Thomas J. Burke is president. Okay, or no, sorry, he's vice president. He's listed in his company here as being vice president. Even though I think this is technically a different company, but like maybe it like evolved into this. The company is backed by several of the best-known businessmen in Chicago and New York. Okay. Okay. This is a good thing. Okay, this is one from 1907. Patents issued. Thomas J. Burke, New Orleans, railway switch. Okay, again, continuing that same thing. Uh, 1910. What's this one? Thomas J. Burke sues Philip Werlin, alleging industries. What is this? The only suit entered upon the general docket of the Civil District Court during the open forenoon hours of yesterday's half holiday was won by Thomas J. Burke against Philip Werlin for $20,320 in damages. That's a lot in 1910. In a petition filed, it is averred that Mr. Werlin owns the premises 517 Beanville Street, and that on June 4th, 1909, there had been dug in front of his place a hole that was unnecessarily left open. It is asserted that boards had been placed across the excavation to enable those using the sidewalk to pass, and that Burke stepped onto one of the planks, which broke and predicted him to fall into the hole, causing him several injuries. Bro got Looney Tuned. It's like something out of like a Charlie Chaplin like bit. Mr. Burke alleges that he was laid up for 2 days, entirely incapacitated for work for 2 months, has incurred doctor bills in the sum of $175, medicine bills of $28, and nurse bills of $99, in addition to which he claims damages for the injuries sustained, which he says are permanent. A trial by jury he is asked for. Dang. He fell in a hole. That's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so there are a few more here. Okay, this is 1911. Following were recorded yesterday at the City Board of Health. Oh, that's a birth. Those are births. Okay, 1912. Thomas J. Burke versus Philip Ware. Oh, is this a... Is this the thing? Hold on. How many years later is this? This is 2 years later. Wow, that trial went on for a long time. This is in 1912. Almost 2 years later. Thomas J. Burke versus Philip Werline. Syllabus. One who causes an excavation to be made in a sidewalk and covered with boards, which invite a pedestrian to walk on them, but which break beneath his weight, thereby precipitating him into the excavation and injuring himself, and one actually does the things mentioned, may be held liable in solide to the person injured. And as they may be sued together, originally there is no reason why they should not be brought together as defendants in the same suit. By supplemental petition seasonably filed. The exceptions of misjoiner and no cause of action were therefore improperly overruled, and the judgment appealed from is accordingly avoided and reversed. The exception overruled, and the case remanded to the district court for further proceedings according to law. Hold on. Huh. So he did. So he was found liable for the injury. Philip was found liable, it sounds like, but then they're saying all this is. The judgment appealed from is accordingly avoided and reversed, and exception overruled. In the case remanded to the district court. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, unfortunately, but that, yeah, that's. I think it was overruled. It was found guilty, but there's a lot of words in there that are confusing. But that's where his thing ends with patents. So hold on, let me pull up real quick. There's one other way we can do this. Hold on. Here we go. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. Okay, so search inventor name Thomas J. Burke. Oh, that's right. I forgot you only have to. Okay, so Thomas Burke, inventor name. Oh boy. Okay. Can we go all the way back to how far back does this go? 2012, 2010, 2008. As long as it's 1924. Oh. Thomas J. Burke, Universal. What's this one? Is this our guy? Universal Pipe of New Orleans. Oh, wait. Oh, dang it. I was hoping Attorney Lacey. Hold on. Who was the attorney for this one? I was hoping that, like, maybe if they had, like, the same witnesses. Yeah, because this is Alex email, and unfortunately that signature, that attorney signature, Lacey something. Is that the same I don't think that's the same. Hold on, okay. Oh. Life and vessel saving equipment? Is this him? Thomas J. Burke from New Orleans. There aren't any witnesses on these later ones. And that's a different attorney. If we can find, hold on, if we can find, wish you could... Because we don't have the exact date. And then we're going to get everything that's in that date. Because this one, or the 1901 thing, doesn't say officially when the patent was, like... Is it... This is November 7th, 1902. What if I put, like, November 1st, 1902? 1902, 11, 01. Oh, whoops. That's not 1992, 1902. Oh god, just going through a bunch of numbers and just trying to see if any of them work. If we can find those older ones, and if they, by luck, they have the same attorney or witnesses, we know it's the same person. That's how we can figure it out 100% that the Thomas J. Burke that we're trying to look for is the electrician guy. Oh wait, attorney name. Attorney name. Hold on. They don't have a witness search option, do they? But well, what if we change it like to a signee name? No. Applicant name? Or how about just everything? How many search results did we get? Oh boy. Okay then. That is a lot. And there's no way to... I wish there was a way you could like skip multiple pages and like go all the way to the end. Because they're in order by year. For some reason, we don't have the patent number for these. It looks like Lacey? Okay. God. Okay. Trying to think of ideas here. uh, oh wait, this is from 1901, October 16th, 1901. Trolley attachment. Trolley attachment. So here's my thought process on this right now. I think because we have clear evidence that this Thomas Burke was filing patents throughout his entire career, and they weren't just the electric related ones. We saw that one that was for like life-saving equipment. Hold on, let me check if there's another. I think there's another patent search engine. Uh, no, that's like an actual like visit, like an actual like patent office. Okay, here we go. We have an advanced search. But this is like very... Hold on. Okay, this is gonna be... This might work. Hold on, let me just... I'm not familiar with this search engine, and it's very... Uh... What is... How does this even work? This is like... Okay. Yeah, search. I put... 1974. $18.90. Okay. This is for animal traps. Hold on, 1910. 1910. Thomas J. Burke. Combination of rolling bodies as a device where it was tripped, thereby for musical, non-musical tones. Okay, so this is another advertising one by Thomas J. Burke. This is a different advertising one from 1910. $1901. No, that's from... Okay, so... J. Burke. Useful improvements, advertising novelties. Be placed in the pot. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that we're looking at. In games. I think this is specification for sealing cartons. I think these are all made by the same guy. I think these are all the same Thomas J. Burke doing all of these. Because that's what all these are, is that they're all the same person. Okay. Wooden bottom shoe. Okay, hold on. Now that we know which one we're looking for, which again, I'm pretty sure is this one. I'm pretty sure this is the Thomas J. Burke that we want. Thomas J. Burke, Vice President, General Manager of Burke Electric Works. Which is this one right here, this guy. Which if we can find out exactly what his middle name is. Which it looks like he does have a find a grave. We love find a grave here. So let's see. Okay. Thomas Joseph Burke. 1977. 1877, 1931. Rose. Yes, this is him, because Rose is his spouse. Yes, Rose, spouse's name, Rose. Yes, okay, this is him. So he died in 1931. What does it say? Thomas J. Burke. We loved wife, Rose, and like daughter. Okay, so this is just a whole, like a whole group. Okay. But according to this, we know now his middle name is Joseph. So, if I get rid of patent, Thomas Joseph Burke. 1909, 1905. Marriages. Thomas Joseph Burke and Miss Rose Edna. Okay, that's them. So that's their marriage record. Delegates Yellow Pine Association. This is a list of a bunch of people. What is this about kittens? Fun with the kittens. Concentrated tribe enjoys the initiation. 50 tabbies taken into order of hoo-hoo. Or ho-ho. Yellow Pine delegates are guests of honor. Wild screams issue from Hall of Torture at the height of the ceremonies. What the hell is this? Was he a part of this? And this is them, a group of delegates of the Yellow Pine Association convention in session at the Grunwald Hotel. So is he one of these guys in the photo? One of the most successful consultations of the Order of the Ho-Ho held in the South took place last night at the Grunwald Hotel, when the New Orleans Ho-Ho entertained the delegates of the Yellow Pine Manufacturers Association. The feature of the affair was the initiation of 50 kittens into the mysteries of the Black Cat. The initiatory 9 consisting of some of the most experienced Ho-Hos in the business. Nothing was overlooked in the way of illuminations and decorations to make the affair a success. Okay, being on the internet too long and in the world that we are in today, calling them kittens just is not great. The insignia of the order, a monstrous electrical black cat loaned by W.E. Barnes of St. Louis, who is third snark of the universe of Ho-Ho. What the hell am I reading? Was a centerpiece for the decorative scheme, and the Hall of Torture was appropriately decorated with emblems of the order. The ceremonies began about 7:30 o'clock and were not concluded until nearly 10. Then the Hall of Torture was mystically transformed into a place of merriment, and the initiatory 9 gave way for a corps of entertainers furnished by the Grunwald management. There was a smoker and vaudeville entertainment, which lasted until the cats began to leave the roofs. There was an abundance of good things to eat and drink and smoke, and several hundred lumbermen and others said there had never been a concatenation more successfully held than that of last night. The initiatory 9 were as follows. Okay. All these. The following kittens had their eyes opened. Okay. So that's all these people. He's listed there. He was apparently a kitten who had his eyes opened. The committee of general arrangements are as follows. Okay, and then the reception committee are as follows. This is nuts. No wonder people think like crazy shit about like these organizations, these like fraternity clubs and stuff. This feels like I don't know, something out of Get Out. Like the Grand Snark or whatever. No, he wasn't Grand Snark. He was the... Where was he? It was right here. I just saw it. No, he's third Snark. He's the third Snark of the universe of Ho-Ho. Which is a sentence I never thought I would ever read. Wow. Hold on. What is this called? Okay, I'm going on a tangent real quick because I need to know what the hell I just read. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it definitely does sound like they were smoking the good stuff. Okay, so here we go. Here's the thing. Concentrated Order of Ho-Ho is a fraternal and service organization with members in the forest products industry. Huh. Did you just swear? I don't know what I said, honestly. I might have, like, uttered some, like, enchantment. Hold on. Concentrated Order was founded January 21st, 1892 in Arkansas. Its 6 founders... Okay. As most founders were only connected to the lumber industry, tangentially, company executives, newspapermen, railroadmen, etc. It was first suggested the name the term "oh" having been synonymous with the term lumberman. Okay. The first regular consecration, or concatenation, was held at the St. Charles Hotel in New Orleans in February of 1892. The order was more informal than other secret societies of its day. It did not have lodge rooms, enforce attendance at meetings, or anything else other than orders that could be avoided. Okay, and it does still exist. I mean, this sounds a lot crazier than, like, Rotary or Lions Club. Okay, rituals and symbols. The founders wanted the organization to be unconventional and unregimented. Its one aim would be to foster the health, happiness, and long life of its members. In the spirit of fun, names of some of the officers were inspired by Lewis Carroll's The Hunting of the Snark. Okay, that's where the snark thing comes from. The executive committee of the order was known as the Super Nine. It consisted of the Snark, Senior Ho-Ho, Junior Ho-Ho, Scrivener, Bojum, Jabberwock, Custocadian, Arcanoper, and Gurdon. I think that's a Pokemon. Each state or foreign country was ruled as a vice-regent Snark. The local groups were called... Okay. Judicial affairs and care of the emblem were delegated to a House of the Ancients, which consisted of the past executives or orders whose members served for life. The emblem is a black cat with its tail curled into the shape of a figure 9. Its colors are white, black, and gold. Membership is currently limited to 18 people. Or to people... to people 18 and up. Sorry, in terms of age. I thought it was saying just like only 18 people could join. I was just like, what? Okay. Was known to have a maximum of 9,000 members in the late 1890s and upward of 5,000 members. In the early 1920s, it had grown approximately 7,000. It says they have a website. Dance of the Ho-Ho. Huh. Yeah, they exist. All right, well, that was a fun tangent. All right, anyway, sorry. That was a... So yeah, okay, so he apparently was part of that. Okay, let's change it to 1921 to 1931, because that's when he died, apparently. It was 1931. Uh, when did he die? 10th of January. Okay, so it might be this one. Funeral services for Thomas J. Burke, head of the Burke Electrical Works, were held Sunday. Okay. Okay, so that's something. Thomas J. Burke, Charleston, South Carolina, Deputy Commissioner and General Chairman of the Board, presided today's meeting. Okay, that's a different Thomas. That's a different Thomas J. Burke. Because there are, of course, so many of them for some reason. Okay, but what are these other things that happened? We don't get him in another newspaper until 1929. Prisoner works gangster trick on detective. Detective Thomas J. Burke of the Brooklyn Pickpocket Squad. Okay, that's not... that's not the right Thomas J. Burke. That's a different one. Thomas J. Burke and Sidney Philbottocks of Crowley motored to this city on Sunday and visited with friends. What city is this? Lafayette, Louisiana. That could be him, but it's a little hard to say. Thomas J. Burke was arrested for Shreveport authorities on the charge of embezzlement. Burke had spent a large part of his life in Ouachita Parish and was raised three boys here. So I think this is a different Thomas J. Burke because this isn't New Orleans. Okay, so this isn't New Orleans. Let's see. What about... This is also Lafayette, Louisiana. Oh yeah, that's the same. That's the South Carolina guy. That's the same guy again. That guy from South Carolina came here a lot, apparently. Okay. Let's see. I have a feeling... Let me change it back to New Orleans. That's interesting, that just having it be New Orleans. Yeah, having it just be Thomas Burke is... There's too many Thomas Burkes throughout... Hold on. Show map and details. Where's Orleans Parish? Yeah, that's for the funeral. Thomas Joseph, son of Thomas Burke. Okay, no, that's a different person. Okay. So this is how currently how I feel. At the moment, I feel like 70% sure that this is the Thomas J. Burke we're looking for. I'm like 70% sure. There is a possibility that it could still be this one, the Thomas J. Burke who's the assistant cashier. But because this Thomas J. Burke was putting out a ton of patents, because I think that's what these type of people do. These inventors, that's what they do. They just pump out patents. I'm pretty confident in saying that this is who we're looking for. And actually, let me just do one quick thing. Louisiana, Shivenport, Alexandria. N. Burke, Thomas E. Burke, Thomas H. Burke. Thomas H. Burke. This is the one that we already saw. The Thomas J. Burke, like. Let's see. Yeah, I'm Thomas F. Burke. Thomas F. Burke. Yeah, wow, there's a Thomas F. Burke showing up a lot. Crowley, Louisiana. What's this one from New Orleans? Thomas F. Burke. Okay, nope, that's not him. This is another one that we saw in 1907. That was the trolley switch. Because they're saying Judge Thomas J. Burke, Miss Thomas J. Burke. Wait, hold on. What is this? New suits. John G. Harrison versus Thomas J. Burke. Provisional seizure. Huh. I'm not sure if that's the same. This is New Orleans. So that could be him. Alexandria, Louisiana. Okay. Interestingly, it seems like newspapers for like New Orleans stop after like 1920. Like beyond that, there's not much. Yeah, because if I do it for just New Orleans, we actually get a decent number. Oh, is this the same? I think this is just the same. Yeah, that's just the same one that we already have. Is this? Sucks is that we can't find like an obituary for him, because a lot of times obituaries are honestly like full on like super powerful like or super informative like things. So much information in them. What is this? Burke Limbaugh, the marriage of Thomas J. Burke to Miss Rosa. That's this guy's wife, right? This guy's married to Rosa. Yeah. Yeah, okay, this is him. So yeah, so I'm gonna... Yeah, Rose B. Rose, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, honestly, and get rid of the stuff that's not with this Thomas J. Burke, because I'm pretty sure we got the right guy now. So we know this Thomas J. Burke was born October 5th, 1877. So let's now that we know that, Thomas Burke, (1877), New Orleans. I'll put Rose. Yeah, that says Rose. Okay. Let's just see what we get. Okay, here we go. Thomas Joseph Burke. That looks like him. Oh, was he married twice? Birth, Brooklyn, Kings, New York. Oh, wait, so he was born in... He was born in New York. Hold on, is that what's in that one census record? Thomas J. Burke. No, this says that he was born in Louisiana. This says he was born in Louisiana. Marriage of son, residence, Brooklyn, 1900. Brooklyn Ward, New York, New York. Wait, no, this is the wrong guy. This is a different Thomas J. Burke who married a Rose. God, no. Hold on. Thomas J. Burke. No, not New York. I don't think he has one of these. Yeah, so that was the wrong... That was the wrong one. But let's look at... Okay, so we have a 1910 census. Thomas J. Book, Rose, yep. Ethy, Rose, Margaret, daughter. Okay, yeah, so this is them. He's 32, she's 23. Louisiana, yep. From Pennsylvania, electrician, general, yep. Okay, this is him. Okay, so we can actually, I think now, I feel comfortable enough now that we've kind of gone through the whole thing of trying to figure out which is the real Thomas J. Burke that we're trying to look for. Now that we have that figured out, let's fill out some bingo spaces. Because, okay, we know, let's see, I'm going to put unrelated job, because if he's electrician, this patent is really random. He's in more than one census. He's in a city directory. Death certificate, junior, no great. Widowed / divorced. Single, sudden death, marriage. Okay, I think that's all we can do for now, based on what we found. Okay, so we have a 1910 census. What does this 1930 census say? Hold on. Let me organize my tabs a little bit. Okay, so that's 1931. Thomas J. Burke. Yep, that's him. Rose, Rose. Yeah, those are all his daughters. 15. What is that? Morgan Boulevard? Yeah, Morgan Boulevard. Wait. Proprietor. Yep, so proprietor means owner. Electric supplies. Yep, okay. So that is, yeah, still him. How old is he in 1930? He's only 50. Which again, I wish we could find an obituary to figure out like what happened to him. But there's not really much else. Okay, what about this 1900 census? Is this him? Okay, Thomas. Pennsylvania and Ireland. I think that is him, because in his other ones, it says his mother's, or his father, yeah, mother's from Pennsylvania, and his father is Irish. Yes, okay. That is him. So this is him at 22. He's living, yeah, he's living at home. Bar room? His dad was working in a bar. He doesn't have a job. And his father was an immigrant from Ireland. 1951. Immigrated. Still not a naturalized citizen yet at that point. Okay, let's see. Let's see. This is Virginia death records. Oh wait, is this an obituary? Hold on. (1977). Let's take 1931. No, this is not. This isn't him. What the hell? That's like not even close. Thomas J. That's the only connection. Wait, here we go. World War I draft registration cards. Hold on. Makes sense because he wouldn't have. Okay, October 5th, 1877. Is that the same that's on the Find a Grave? It is. Okay. October 5th, 1877. 40 years old at this time when he signed, like, registered. President. Oh, so now he's president at this point. He's president. Burke Electric Company. Placement point 424. Charter. Nearest relative. Name. Wife. Didn't even put her name. Just wife. She doesn't have a name. She's just wife. 3525 Banks. Okay. New Orleans. What else can we learn about him? Oh, wait, hold on. What else can we learn about him? Okay, so he's tall, apparently. Tall and stout. Blue eyes, gray hair. No marks or anything like that on him. Okay. Let's see. Index? Let's see what this one is. Okay, yeah, so this is the marriage record. Marriage to Thomas J. Burke to Miss Rosa B. Lambour took place last Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock at St. Mary's Church, Josephine and Constance. The couple left immediately afterwards for Pensacola and other points in Florida where they will spend their honeymoon. Miss Lambour is the daughter of M. Lambour Jr. and graduated with honors a few weeks ago at St. Mary's College. She has distinguished herself lately in New Orleans as a talented musician, playing 5 instruments. Ooh. Mr. Burke has made himself prominently in the business way in the last few years as an electrician. He started in business 4 years ago with less than $100 and has made a success of his business. Okay. Interesting. This gives us at least a little bit about good information about... It's interesting here that her name is listed as Rosa, but everything else is Rose, including her grave. So maybe they messed up here? Possibly? It is possible that the newspaper messed up. Okay, what is this? I don't know why a Virginia death record is in here. Date of death, 1980. No, okay, yeah, no, this is not the... Oh, this is their daughter. Marjorie. Name of father, Thomas J. Burke. Rose Lambour. Okay. This is their daughter. This is Margareta. She was living in Virginia. Falls Church, Virginia. Working in cosmetics. Huh, interesting. That's interesting. Heart disease. Okay, so cardio. Yeah, so basically it sounds like she had like a heart attack or something like that. New Orleans. Okay, yeah. Orleans death records? Hold on. Does this have something? Or is it just going to be information? Yeah, just information. There is another census I saw. We have an 1880 census. So he was like a little... Oh yeah, he was 3. Okay, Burke. Thomas, yeah. Son. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and he would be 3 because he was born in 1877. His father was a cotton salesman. Or scale man. Cotton scale man. That is scale man. I thought it was salesman at first. No, so probably he was one of the people, yeah, who would like weigh cotton that was being sold out of the South in 1880. It looks like he was the oldest child. Yeah, he was the oldest child of all of them. So we did that. Death records index. Okay. Now that we have like a good idea of like some of the like places where he lived. Market Street, 404 Market Street, New Orleans. This is actually honestly one of my favorite things that we do on this stream. Let's pull up Google Maps and let's see if any of these places still exist. All right. With it being New Orleans, who knows? Okay, so New Orleans. So first, let's just go through the census records here. So this one, this house that... What is this one? Religious Street? 38 Religious Street. Let's see if that's a place. 38 Religious Street, New Orleans. Okay, Religious Street is a thing. But the numbers have probably changed. Yeah. The numbers have definitely changed. So then let's try this 1900 one, which is 404 Market Street. 404 Market. Oh, wow. Does not... Whoa. This is definitely... Wow. It's 401 right there. Oh wait, this one, there's a Oh wow. Yeah, it's the build. Wow, look at that. Big buildings. Okay. So so that one's definitely not there anymore. 1910. 303 Alexander? Let's see. 303. Okay, there's South Alexander Street. No, looks like it's gone. I mean, so much of Katrina, or sorry, so much of New Orleans was destroyed, like damaged by Katrina that like I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the houses, you know, even just recently, maybe they did exist, but now, since Katrina, they're probably gone. Okay, so what's this next one? 15 Morgan Boulevard. 15 Morgan Boulevard. Okay, well, there's a Morgan Street. Doesn't look like it's that one either. That looks like it's a bunch of dry docks. Yeah. Yeah, 15 Morgan Boulevard. $726. Oh wait, is this? Oh no, this isn't him. Wait, is this him? No, this is a different. Yeah, this is a different one. Well, where does it say that he lives? Okay, his thing is at his business is at 424 Charters. 424 Charter Street. Is looks like it still exists. This is an old enough building that this is in like the historic part of like New Orleans that, yeah, this is this 422. Hold on. $424 is like this part. So yeah. Okay, so that part still exists. His business still exists. Building, at least. The business building. Okay, but there's also this one. 4214 Vineville. 4214. 214. Bineville Street, New Orleans, or Bineville Avenue, New Orleans. It's a house. Hold on. Is that it? 4214. That's it. That's it. Look at that. That's a charming house. It's very long and narrow. But that's it. Look at that. We found one. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mark. Let's see. We have it on here. House still exists. There we go. Okay. Okay. So. Oh, we can also click on draft card, because we have that. They did have kids. We did find their grave. We couldn't find an obituary, which honestly is is crazy that we couldn't find it. Let me pull up one other website real quick. Okay. Let's see. Okay, hold on. This is turning out... They've changed the thing that I normally use. This is different than what it used to be. Hold on. Let me pull it up so you guys can see it real quick. Yeah, this is Chronicling America by the Library of Congress. Let me just see if that does anything. Or is that going to be like too much? Okay. Hold on. Here we go. Let's narrow it down to 1931. You narrow it down to 1931. And then... change it to... Is New Orleans not even coming up? Or, not... Because it's not giving me more. Alaska, Ohio... Yeah, it's not even coming up. So he's not coming up. So he's not in here. Okay, well... That was a dud. Yeah, that's... That's crazy that we can't find anything else. What is this? The arrangement received tonight today in San Francisco, California, of Thomas J. Burke, a well-known young man of this city. Mr. Burke left Mobile to... Okay, no, this is a different... That's a different Thomas J. Burke. Oh, what's this one? This is him. Thomas J. Burke, the well-known electrician, has very generously offered the services of his firm in arranging the lights for Monday night and the placing of the screens. His donation in this way to the Doll and Toy Fund is much appreciated. What is this? Hold on. Doll and Toy Fund. Is this like a charity thing? So he was like donating his... So less than a day before, and each day's contributions from now on ought to be larger than the previous one. The fund is not nearly as large now as it ought to be. Huh. So yeah, it's like a toy. So it's like Toys for Tots basically, but for back in 1908. Oh. Okay. New suits. National Atomic Fire Alarm Company of Louisiana versus Thomas J. Burke. He's being sued by a fire alarm company for $495? Is there more on this? Hold on. That was in 1909. Thomas J. Burke, 523 enunciate. Okay, this is a different Thomas J. Burke. Yeah, this is the wrong, because it's 55023. That's the other Thomas J. Burke. This is the thing that we already saw, right? Yeah, the damages for him fall. He fell in a hole, Looney Tunes style. What is this? New suits. James Clark Jr., Electric Company, Inc. versus Thomas J. Burke. This guy was getting sued all the time. Which I guess when you're, like, involved in electrics and you're a business owner, kind of makes sense. Electric Company chartered. The charter of the Burke Electrical Company Limited, capitalized at $15,000, was filed at the Mortgage and Conveyance Office yesterday. The company will conduct a general engineering and contracting business. Otto Mayer, Thomas J. Burke, and James H. Bradley are the incorporators, with Otto Mayer as president, Thomas J. Burke vice president and general manager, and James H. Brandy secretary and treasurer. Okay, so this is when he changed. This is when he specifically founded the Burke Electrical Company, which is the thing that we find listed in the here. Burke Electrical Works. Okay, what about this one? Electrical contractors organized after 9 years to do so. Other officers present were Thomas J. Burke, vice president, treasurer. Okay, yeah. Statewide body. There is an annual fight for it. Huh. Okay, so he was involved in that as well. This looks like a big list. What is this? Oh, births. Okay. December 17th. Contractors elect. At the annual meeting of the Louisiana Electrical Contractors Association, held its comfortably furnished headquarters, 625 Poyandras. Whoa! Hello, everybody! Hello! Thank you so much, Neff, for the raid. Hold on. Oh god, I haven't done this in a while. Neff. Hold on. Let me give you a shout out real quick. Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody, from Neff's stream. I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. I have a migraine. I need you to mind the book. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Neff. I was thinking about that because I was like, you normally are streaming later than me with this stuff. I'm sorry that you have that migraine. I hope you feel better. Hope you had a good stream though, despite the migraine. But yeah, hello everybody. Thank you guys so much for stopping on by. I understand, Neff, obviously, if you have to raid and run to help you with that migraine. You know, I hope you feel better, man. But hello everybody. If you're coming in from Neff's stream, I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. I am a history research streamer, I guess is what you would call it. Where where most of my streams I do some sort of like a history research or genealogy research live here on stream, where it can be anything. I'm not used to doing. I have to admit I haven't been raided in a while, so I'm not used to like doing my like sell everything spiel. But what I do is I do research on like various things on various people. Specifically, we are researching the inventors of patents. Specifically today, we are researching the inventor of this. This is a prank. This is a prank pocket little thing. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go eat half a bottle of Advil and take a nap. Hey, you know, go rest up, man. I hope you feel better. But yeah, have a good rest of your evening and rest well. But yeah, for all the raiders coming in, we are looking up, trying to research the guy who invented this. This is a prank pocket that you used to put in, or prank thing you would put in your coat pocket, where it would have like a fake string hanging out of it, like as if like you had like a loose thread. And if somebody pulled that loose thread to try and take it off, a little like sign would like pop up out of your pocket. And it's being the patent says that it's an advertising novelty, so that you would use this for advertisement, which I don't know honestly how that would work, because like I don't go up to random people and pull the strings off their jackets, which I feel like that's the only way like advertising wise this would work. But anyway, I digress. So we know that this was invented by a guy named Thomas J. Burke of New Orleans, Louisiana. But the problem initially that we had was that according to this city directory, that at the time this patent was filed in 1914, there were 3 Thomas J. Burkes living in New Orleans. 3 of them. Just our luck of the people we're trying to research, there's 3 of them. Through a bunch of like research and trying to narrow things down and trying to figure things out, eventually we were able to narrow it down that we're pretty confident that the Thomas J. Burke who invented this is this Thomas J. Burke right here, who ran his own electrical works company, Burke Electrical Works, out of New Orleans. We're pretty sure it's him, because throughout his life, he filed several patents. This is another patent that we found that was filed by him. There was another... Oh, shoot, it didn't save. Dang it. I thought I saved it. There's a newspaper article that says I have like 20... I have like a million... When you do this research, you end up with like a million tabs open. Let's see. Oh yeah, here, another one. Patents issued. Thomas J. Burke, railway switch. So this is another patent that he filed like years before. That is, I think catches you up on what we're doing. I'm trying to find more newspaper articles about this guy. We know that he, according to census records, he married a woman named Rose. And actually, no, we found the newspaper article for their marriage. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah. Thomas Joseph Burke and Miss Rose Edna Limbour in 1905. And they had 4 daughters, according to census records. Yeah. 4 daughters. And he passes away, according to this, in 1931 at 53 years old. However, I cannot find, and this is kind of weird, I can't find an obituary for him. The only thing I've been able to find here was this. Funeral services for Thomas J. Burke, head of the Burke Electrical Works, Inc., 428 Charter Street, were held Sunday. That's the only thing I've been able to find in terms of like his obituary. Which isn't a lot. Most of the time when you do this research, you can at least find somebody like who you can find like somebody who took or some sort of obituary. But we got barely nothing. And obituaries are like amazing because they give you so much information on a person. Like they give you basically their entire life story right there. And the fact that we don't have that makes this so much more difficult. I'm currently just kind of going through these other these other newspaper records, see if we can find anything else. Okay, so this isn't him. The other problem is that because there are other Thomas J. Burkes in New Orleans at this time, we have to be careful because that we're not like reading anything about him. But thankfully, this one, Thomas J. Burke, says his 9-year-old son. So we know that's not the guy that we're looking for because he's not 9 years old in 1913. He's like in his 30s. Let's see. So, okay, so now let's go ahead. And also, as you see the top there, I love, if you guys have any questions about, like, you know, what I'm doing or what's going on here, or like my research process or anything like that, feel free to ask in the chat. I love answering questions. So let's go ahead then. 1877 is the year he's born. And let's go to 1899. See if there's anything. Let's see. I don't think this is him. Insurance Company of New Orleans versus Thomas J. Burke. So I'm pretty sure this isn't him because he would be like 1 year old, not even a year old. And I doubt he's getting sued at 1 year old, you know, for insurance. Oh, also something else that I forgot to mention that you see directly above my little PNG is we also do bingo with this. So as you can see, we've marked off a few spots. Like if we find certain things or the person we're researching has certain traits, like we'll mark these off on here. This one has been not that much, like I said, because we haven't been able to find his obituary and a couple other things. We, you know, haven't been able to fill out this bingo sheet as much as we normally can. But how many do we have? Okay, 40. I think pretty much. Hold on. What is this one? Died. Okay, no, that's definitely not him. What were his parents' name again? William and Margaret. Okay, so William and Margaret are his parents' names. Hey, Coco, good to see you. Yeah, no, you're right. Too many. There are so many name twins in this one. This one is, oof. This one is rough. We've got so many with this one. Let's see. Okay, so not that one. I think a lot of these from 1877 we can rule out because, or actually, when was he born in 1877? Oh yeah, October. So yeah, none of these are gonna have him. Are gonna be about him. Property acquired by Thomas J. Burke. Okay, no, that's also not going to be him. No. This is all the same. All stuff from like a notary. Doubt this is it, but I'm just going to double check. Card of thanks. Board of steamship. Yeah, no, that's definitely not him because he's only 2 years old. He's not. Oh yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah, we did find his grave, but there's no obituary. I can't find his obituary anywhere. This guy, I mean, we know some stuff about his life, like we know the company that he started, the other patents that he started. In the electrical company, we were able to find one of his houses in New Orleans. One of his houses still exists in New Orleans. But other than that, yeah, this guy's been pretty tough, and it's even tougher because you have all the people with the same names as him. Let's see. Okay, what's this one? Following were the pallbearers. Okay, he's not going to be a pallbearer because he's like 4. So that's not him. 1884, he'd be 7. Okay, yeah, no, he's not. He's not taking part in that. He's not taking part in the courts at 7. That's the same article. Yeah, corporate. Okay. George W. Flynn, D. Norman, Thomas J. Burke, President. Hold on, wait. House surgeon, election of the assistant, house surgeon. These are all doctors, right? This is for the hospital. Yeah, board for the hospital. Okay, yeah, no, he's not. He's 11. That's not him. About this one. He's a teenager. On Sunday, Thomas J. Burke, only title. Okay, no, this is. Nope, that is not him, because he did not die at that time. Are these all going to be. Yeah, these are all going to be about the death of this other Thomas J. Burke. Yeah. Thomas J. Burke. Okay, no. Okay, 1895. This could be him. Oh, that's a TE. That says TE Burke. Hold on. Ninth event, 44-yard run. Starters, New York Athletic Club. Thomas J. Burke, NGB Sands, London Athletic. Oh, wait, is this Olympics? Because this is from New York. Hold on. Englishmen shut out. International contest at Manhattan Field. American athletes sweep everything before them. They capture every one of the 11 events. New York. Okay, yeah, no, this is a different. That's a different than from New York, Thomas J. Burke. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so that's not that. What's this one? He's 20 here. Convicted and sentenced. Patrick Mitchell and James McClellan, the accused, had stolen a pair of fancy flower pots from the residence of Mr. Thomas J. Burke on Baronne Street between Eugene and Pollyanna on March 28th last, and were arrested with the stolen property in their possession at the corner of Felicity and Carondelet Streets by Sergeant Gabe Porteous. The evidence was conclusive, and the young men were not represented by counsel, merely introduced character evidence. The jury were out but a few moments when they returned to court and entered a verdict of guilty, recommending the prisoners to the mercy of the court. Judge Moyes, in passing sentence, took into consideration the youth of the accused and the fact that it was their first offense, as well as the fact that they had been in prison since the day of their arrest. He sentenced them to 10 days each in the parish prison. Mitchell's father appealed to the judge prior to the sentence. Okay, when is this one? 1897. Baronne Street. 1897. That might... Yeah, no, because he's still living with his parents. And they live on Market Street. I think that's a different Thomas J. Burke. I don't think that's not our guy. He ain't him. What about this one? New Orleans people at the arcade. What is it? Is this just random stuff going on around the... Yeah, going around the local area. New Orleans people at the arcade. Thomas J. Burke, Portland Young. Okay, that could be him. He's 20. 20 years old. You'd likely hang out around the arcade. That might be him. What is this? Local military budget. 2 artillery commands mustered into service. Men delighted at the prospect of service in the field. 218 young men of the city yesterday took the oath of allegiance to the government of the United States. They were the members of the volunteer batteries of the... Both batteries have been formed with them. They're members of the 2 battalions. Is he listed as one of the... Thomas J. Burke, 3rd Sergeant. So he was in the... Oh, of course. Of course the part of the section that we want to learn more about and, like, figure out things is torn right here. Great. I think this is him? He would be the right age. He'd be like 21. I know, yeah, that is wild, Coco. He would be 21. But there's... God. And this is just like volunteering. This isn't like an official, because we're not at... I don't think we're at... Wait, when was the Spanish-American War? Hold on. No, scratch that. We're in the middle of the Spanish-American War. That's why they're mustering up people. It's the Spanish-American War. I completely forgot about that war. I feel like a lot of people do, but yeah, okay. So that's... So he could have... That it could be him. Oh, wait. Does this have the same information? Yeah, the Louisiana Field Artillery is mustered as follows. Thomas J. Burke, 3rd Sergeant. Okay. Oh, wait. What is this? Is that him? We found him. It's not a picture, but it's a... That's something. Look at that. Oh my god, we found him. Look at that. Sergeant Thomas J. Burke. Look at that. Well, okay, does it talk about him in... To the artillery. Artillery cannon. Men being trained to fire the salutes. Don't know coming down here next Sunday, blah, blah, blah. Do drill. So far the drill has been mostly confined to movements with just gun. These men are still being pushed along. Usual morning drill yesterday. This afternoon, Lieutenant Stafford, squad out. Captain Manning. And Sullivan. Battery from blah, 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 blah. Sergeants. William J. Caron. Major Thompson. I don't see him anywhere else. But why else would they have his picture there? Why else would they have his picture? Burke, the word Burke. This isn't like an extension of like this one, is it? Hold on, July 7th. Oh, it is. That's why. It's... Okay. Oh, there we go. Duh. Wait. Yeah, there's his... Right? Am I looking at... Wait, no, am I getting confused? No, this is July 13th. This is a different one. Huh. But look at that. We got him, though. It's not often that you can get an image of the person. So I can go ahead and mark that on our bingo as well. Picture found. If only he was a criminal and didn't have a grave. We'd have a bingo. That's crazy. The second to last one listed here is that. What is this? New suits. Dang, he got... Is this L. Grundle Co. Limited versus Thomas J. Burke suit for $111.60. The problem with a lot of these suits is that we don't have more details. We just have like the names. We don't even know the results. Because it seems like this guy got sued a lot. Which I guess that's what happens when you own an electric company. Let's see, okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I haven't tried. Because we went through everything here. Let me pull up... Let me pull up our other website that we use real quick. So on top of Ancestry.com, there is also what's called a website called Family Search, which is actually sometimes a little better than Ancestry because it is free to use. The problem, though, is that it is, like, mostly, what's it called? Crowdsourced. And sometimes it being crowdsourced means that mistakes can be, like, easily... so you have to be, like, very careful sometimes with, like, some of the stuff that you get from here. Okay, let me see if I can find him in this. Oh. Okay. Okay, I think I found something. I'm partial to family search, full text search. It's made so many record sets searchable that didn't used to be. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. Yeah, because I will admit there are things like text things that are more searchable in family search than they are in ancestry. For example, I always tend to find more marriage records and death records in family search than I do on ancestry. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is him. Thomas Burke, New Orleans. Is this him? No, this is the wrong one. What the hell? Nope, that's the wrong person. I can't believe I got that mixed up. Hold on. Where? This is not. It's this one. Wait. Hold on. I think I found something. Here. Okay. I think this is him. Interesting way that they took this image. St. Mary's Church. Yes, St. Mary's Church is the place. Okay, here we go. Thomas Joseph Burke, native of New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay, these are his parents. William J. Burke. Yeah, that is right. And Margaret. Okay. Miss Rosa Edna. Okay, yeah, this is them. Thomas J. Burke. Yeah. Witnesses. Yeah, that's them. June 15th, 1905. Huh. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that's... Yeah, again, this is another example of how... Uh... How, family search can be better than ancestry sometimes. Sometimes. The fact that we got this. And it said... Did it say this was attached to any trees? There's a Thomas Gutney Burke? What is that? Hold on. That's the same birth and death years. And Rosa, yeah. Who in the world made this one? Okay, I mean, is that his actual name? Thomas Guinty Burke? It's not Joseph? Maybe they changed it to Joseph later, but it... Wow, what a name. Yeah, probably is a misindex. That is possible. Event place, Louisiana. Death. Father's name. Okay, yeah, there's nothing else here. There's not the actual record. Huh. Okay, hold on. Yeah, 'cause this is the other Thomas. This is the other Thomas J. Burke. That's a completely different Thomas J. Burke. That's from Pennsylvania. But this says this is attached to this person. Hold on. Did somebody like mess up and like attach this to the wrong person? I think they did. Yeah, because these are... Yeah. I think somebody messed up. Somebody making this messed up and put the wrong... Yeah. Moshe Burke. Event type obituary. New Orleans item. New Orleans item. Hold on. Quick Google search time. New Orleans item. Hold on. Hold on. I haven't used this website much before, so I'm not entirely... I hope I'm doing it right. Hold on. Burke. 01... I'll just put 0101 1931. Do I have to put the slashes? What was his death date? Hold on. Oh, January 10th. Okay, so I'll just put 0131. Dang it, I don't want to sign up. Okay, well. God, alright. Maybe I can do that later off stream and figure out if I want to keep doing that. Okay. Is there another New Orleans item? Not showing up here. What about... Hold on. Louisiana. They don't have New Orleans Weekly, New Orleans Times, New Orleans Guide, semi-weekly item. Yeah, they don't have New Orleans item one here. Okay, well then. Yeah, so I think that explains why we probably can't find an obituary. But we did find an engraving of him, an illustration of him, which is honestly pretty cool. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. But I think I'm going to go ahead. I think we're going to call it here for tonight. But hey, we didn't get a bingo. And despite the rough start we had with this one, because we had to figure out, who he was, which one was our right Thomas. And I'm still, like I said, I'm only honestly like 75% sure that this is the right Thomas J. Burke. Just because he also did a bunch of other patents too, but that's as good as I think we're going to get with this right now, because there's really going to be no other way to confirm it. And that's also the risk when you do these researches or these searches, like in bigger cities like New Orleans, you're more likely to come in contact with this issue. That's why, honestly, like as of right now, I kind of avoid doing ones like in places like New York. Like if the person is from New York and they have like a not super specific like name, like if it's a very generic name, I'm not going to bother because it's going to be so hard and so difficult to like determine which person is the person you're trying to look for. But yeah, I mean, still, we were able to find, like I said, we were able to find some interesting stuff. We found an illustration of him. We found, where is it? There was that one, we found out that he fell into a hole Looney Tunes style and tried to sue the, here we go, yeah. He fell into a hole like Looney Tunes style in a sidewalk and then tried to sue the person who made the hole. So yeah, this has been a good, nice, like fun discovery stream. But with that, I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to my office. All right. So yeah, so that's going to do it for today's stream. If you are new here, like I said before, I'm not a professor. I do these streams every Sunday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But every once in a while, I like to do a gorilla stream. So if you want to be here next time I go live, make sure you next time I go live, make sure you go ahead and follow. Let's see, what else do I say normally? I haven't done this. I also just, for those of you who are new, I just came back from like a 3-week vacation. And so I'm still like trying to like get back into like the groove of like streaming and like all that kind of stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else. What else do I normally say? Oh, I also have a YouTube channel. If you check out the links down below, if you follow or go to my YouTube channel, I've uploaded shorts about talking about some clips from stream, but also talking about stuff that we found on stream and doing and some of the stuffs that we discovered, which has been some pretty cool stuff. And yeah, okay, I think with that, let's go ahead and let's find somebody to raid. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead. We are going to raid Melissa in Denial. She's actually celebrating her 5-year anniversary, so let's go ahead and let's raid her and wish her a happy anniversary. She is actually a Egyptologist who does like presentations and streams talking about like Egyptology and archaeology. So if you're into that, I highly recommend checking out her streams and following her. So let me go ahead. Let's get a raid message going here. Da-da. It's going to be that raid message, and then let me do another one for non-subscribers. Da-da-da-da. There we go. Right, but yeah, like I said, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. And also thank you, Neff, again, so much for the raid. And anybody who's stuck around from that raid, thank you guys so much for being here. But yeah, I'll hope you guys have a great rest of your evening or day, wherever you are. And I will see you guys on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing another research stream. All right, have a good time, everybody, or have a good night. Take care.